And hopefully I'm live. Hopefully. Go live. That's weird. It gave me an error and said I couldn't go live, but it said it was going, so hopefully I'm live. I guess let me know if I'm actually live. If you don't see anything, then I'll assume I'm not live. All right. All right, let's start a poll. Yeah, maybe AI. All right, looks like I'm live. Good. Here's a poll. Are you profitable so far this year? Yes or no? It's anonymous, so I don't know who says yes, who says no. I won't know. You be honest. Got a heck of a week going this week. We've got Google, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Amazon reporting earnings on top of the FOMC meeting tomorrow, or I guess it started today. We'll wrap up tomorrow, 2 p.m. Chaos in the market, potential. Trump versus Xi coming up on Thursday with the trade deal talk. This might be one of the most epic weeks. It's either going to be absolute fireworks, and the government's been shut down for 4 weeks now. So it's either going to be absolute chaos or absolute fireworks. I don't know. You tell me. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? It's going to be a wild ride. Wild ride. I mean, that's like the biggest of the big companies in the. I mean, we've got Microsoft, and the only thing, we don't have Nvidia. Those earnings come out later in November. But this is pretty much everybody else in the top, right there. I mean, Tesla already came out, and Netflix already came out, so we'll see. The reaction on both Tesla and Netflix were down. One of these guys is going to be able to pull it out. So then FOMC, I guess we kind of expect a rate cut, but there's been no jobs data to support cutting or any of that stuff. And I don't know. Hold on 1 second. And I don't know. This week could be crazy. I got this uneasy feeling, And my friend, for those of you who don't know, I follow Avi Gilbert quite a bit. Like just about everything he puts out, I read. Today he issued a warning that trading to the long side right now is dangerous. And he wouldn't do more than a very short term trade to the upside, if at all. But he wouldn't go full on bearish either, because nothing's confirmed to the downside. So it's just a game of patience at this point. And that's I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy that we might see a big downside. I don't like, even during COVID, Avi, kind of months ahead, he said we were due for a correction. And he just called it a correction. He didn't say outright, like, we're potentially going to flush this baby out, which is kind of what he hinted at today. But it did give me some pause. That's an analyst that I respect, that I've seen get it right. And I've kind of paid for, gosh, what has it been? 7 years now? Just, I was like, yeah. So 2020, I like started subscribing to him, I think in 2018. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, you know, yeah, like I guess 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, 7 years. I think I've been a subscriber for 7 years. So first time I've really seen him call for big trouble in you know, the tone of what he wrote was concerning to me. And it's elliottwavetrader.net, in case you don't know. So, I mean, there's lots of cracks. You know, I've been pointing out cracks for weeks. Another one I thought of today. You know, if you know, like, say we had 100,000 people get deported, right? Yeah, I was doing numbers that were bigger, but suppose there's 100,000 people that get deported or leave the United States, and just go with it. AIs are estimating like 1.6 to 2 million based on DHS and ICE and voluntary deportations or leaving or whatever. Suppose these less than legal people, say 100,000 of them leave either voluntarily or forced leaving. What if they had $100,000 in debt? Because those people were here, they bought stuff, they bought cars, they bought equipment, ran lawn services, jobs, whatever. Suppose they borrowed $100,000 on average for just 100,000 of them. Do the math on that real quick. 100,000 people with $100,000 in debt. Add the zeros. It's 5 zeros and 5 zeros. That's 1 followed by 10 zeros. That's $10 billion in debt. If they just left, who covers $10 billion? Who eats $10 billion in losses? I mean, if you add a zero, if it's 1 million people, it's 100 billion. I mean, it's not chump change. Even at 10 billion, it's not chump change. The numbers get really big really fast. So, hey, Ed. Started small, 100. Man, good job. Yeah, sorry you took a little hit today, but yeah, that's doing really well. Really well there. So, private lenders, but is it private lenders, though? If you buy a house, is it private lending? If you, I'm just usually not. I'm just throwing out, these are the things I think about in the background. So it's kind of crazy. I think it's kind of crazy. And my friend Scam Likely calling there. Only called me like 12 times a day. It blows my mind to kind of think about that. $10 billion. It's not a little hole. That's a big hole. I mean, that could take a whole bank out, that kind of money. You spread that around a little bit. Causes big problems. So we've got this FOMC meeting on Wednesday, tomorrow. I mean, it started today. We're going to wrap it up tomorrow. Got that U.S. government shutdown, still going. Still going. Week number 4 in the books. I guess we're starting on week number 5 now. How long is it going to stay shut down? Looking like 45 days is the estimate right now. I guess we'll end the poll. Start a new poll. Yeah, is it taxpayers that pay the money? Is it just we just eat $10 billion collectively? And I mean, it's not, to me, it's not right. Is that the price we pay? So I don't know. Let's see. Who thinks we open before 45 days? So right now it's 44.9 on Kalshi. Anonymous poll. Same. Only 35 voters last time. It was like 50 people on the stream, looks like. Yeah. Well, good job, Ed. glad to be of some assistance. And definitely taxpayer. And so, you know, what's the cause of the lost funds? Did you just jump into the conversation? So like between DHS and ICE, it's, you know, the AIs estimate, you know, I asked like several different ones. Low estimate, like 1.6 million. High estimate, 2 million people have either voluntarily deported themselves or been forcibly removed from the United States. Say 100,000 of those people, not unreasonable, 100,000 of them had borrowed, you know, an average of $100,000 to buy cars and houses and equipment for businesses, and just collectively had $100,000 of debt. Maybe even, you know, getting one of these buy now, pay later loans or whatever, right? So 100,000 people with 100,000 in debt, do the math, you know, 10 zeros, one followed by 10 zeros, that's $10 billion of debt. When they're outside the United States, who eats the debt? How do you collect it? You don't collect it. So we just eat it, right? Eat 10 billion. Now, if it's a million people, I mean, you know, at the rate of only 2 million, you know, 1.6 million people leaving, probably not a million people left with 100,000 in debt on average. But 100,000, that's not so bad, right? I mean, it's a reasonable estimate. And yeah, who do we blame for that? So who eats it? Taxpayers eat it? Too big to fail? So I don't know. Like this is a problem. I just came up with this in the last couple of days. Like it's been mulling around in my head, and I was like, started putting numbers to it. And I was like, oh dang, this could be this could be another one, right? We've got subprime lending problem. Already have 2 bankruptcies in that. You've got this kind of debt problem sitting there. You've got the U.S. debt problem spending out of control. The U.S. is probably going to do its 6th default. You know, I commonly hear it echoed, you know, the U.S. has never defaulted on its, you know, debt, but that's not true. That is untrue. We have defaulted 5 times, basically. We just papered over it every time. Like 3 of those times I think 4 of those times, we adjusted how much gold represents the U.S. dollar. And the 4th time being when we took the U.S. dollar off of the gold, we decoupled it from gold. And the first time was like early, like Civil War times. And it's kind of crazy. This will be like the 6th time, and we don't have gold to reprice at this point because it's not tied to the dollar anymore. So what do we do? What happens? And this time, this default, probably when the Fed, maybe we recouple the Fed. You know, we decoupled the Fed, and Fed's not actually part of the government. Maybe this time the default is that we recouple the Fed and make it part of the government because they weren't doing a good job. So, I mean, I'm just speculating the 100,000 debt. I mean, that's not even hard to get $100,000 in debt. The average new car in September the average new car loan was $50,000. The average new car loan. It's not even difficult to get to $100,000. So, 100,000. I mean, out of 2 million people, you could easily get 100,000 instances of $100,000 in debt. I mean, you buy a house these days, a cheap house is like 300,000. So, yeah, 100,000 seemed like an easy number to hit. You can borrow $100,000 pretty easy until you're the one trying to get the $100,000 loan. Yeah, I was saying a cheap house is 300. You know, cheap house. I mean, so yeah, Nowhere County, Tennessee, or Rongamar and I hang out. 400,000. I mean, it's easy to get 100,000. So And we're not even talking about per deportee. That's 2 million deportees. I'm just talking about 100,000 of them having 100,000 in debt. That's a $10 billion hole. And just think about the numbers. 1.6 to 2 million. So it's just a problem. I feel like it's cooking in the background. Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's housing, but look at the great financial crisis. All those houses supposedly supported the value that were lent on them, but somehow the banks ended up in trouble. It's just kind of crazy, right? And as soon as you drive a car off the lot, 20% depreciation, at least 10. Even if it's a beater, there's problems. And I don't know. Just throwing it out there that these kind of problems are stacking up. And it's a problem. I think it's a real problem. Does it hit tomorrow? Probably not. Maybe. FOMC? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, just, how do you contact the owner? That's right. Like, if you got an asset, like, if you got what do you do with the house that you can't contact the owner? And you can't, the foreclosure process, public notice. How many months does it take? How much does that cost? I mean, yeah, but we gave Argentina $40 billion. But yeah, but we have no money. You can go look at the debt clock. That's ridiculous. You've never seen this before. U.S. debt clock. This thing just keeps on ticking. $38 trillion. That's not a problem though, right? The interest on this thing, total U.S. debt. Yeah, that's just the headline number. Here's the total number: 105 trillion. Just ridiculous. Credit card debt per holder. Holy moly. These numbers are crazy. These numbers are crazy. If you've never seen this before, U.S. debt clock, you pull it up. It's, just insane. And watch these things just tick higher. It almost makes you sick looking, sitting here looking at all this. Put your finger over it and you can kind of see what some stuff is. So it's bad. It's bad, everybody. I mean, I told you, ripping the Band-Aid is there's no good solution to this. I've been talking about this for years, literally, and there's no great solution to it. So it's a problem. There's, there's no one little piece. It's the bad thing that's going to take it all down. It's a house of cards we've built between public debt, private debt, you can put it in whatever bucket you want to. And we haven't even gotten to the CRE problem yet. The commercial real estate. Like that problem's still sitting there. And that's one reason why Trump's hammering on lowering the interest rates. One reason why Trump wants to cut the interest rates so bad is to get the commercial real estate loans back under control. Because there's trillions of dollars of that needs refinanced. We've already been punting. We're almost to the end of the punt, or we can't punt it anymore. They've been extending terms and, papering over it to try to keep this default essentially from defaulting and causing a bigger problem. Because if you thought housing was a big market, CRE is much bigger. And there's a large portion of the regional banks are the major lenders on CRE. A large portion of those regional banks have loaned 300% of their net liquidating value. You think about it, like 300% of their, if they liquidated everything they have as collateral right now for the bank, they've lent 300% of that out on CRE loans that are overdue for rewriting. When does the problem actually happen? Like, it's all sitting out here. And which one little thing, which one hiccup, who flinches first? What flinches first? So that's a problem. Now, DGS2, we've got room to cut. They've jawboned the market down. This is the DGS2 rate, Delta Golf CR2. That's the 2-year constant maturity rate. The orange is the Fed funds rate right up here. We've got room to cut another half point or another quarter point, another quarter point after that, probably. As long as this thing keeps trending down, still got room to go. But if this thing spikes like it did back here, all of a sudden the Fed's got a problem. So what, I think we're going to default on that $38 trillion. Just a matter of when. When does it happen? And I don't know. I don't have an answer, really. So these are the things I kind of think about all the time. Like, what is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? And we got this Trump versus Xi deal. Are they going to work a trade deal? Are they not going to work a trade deal? The market's up yesterday big because, Sunday evening for us, it was Monday morning for China. Xi came out and said, hey, we're going to buy a bunch of U.S. soybeans. So the market started jumping up, popping like crazy. So this could be a big deal, or it could be a minor deal. If they walk away with no trade deal and Trump's going to up the tariffs for some crazy reason. We all saw what happened on October 10th, right? Market down 3% that day. So we could have another round of that. Maybe bigger. Maybe bigger. So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I'm just, the realities of our situation. Everybody remember this, right? Like this just happened right there. Now we're up here. Does that make sense? So what if the realities of 100% tariffs actually do happen? November 1st was when we're supposed to kick it in. That's Saturday. Come back in the 3rd and watch this thing market meltdown. That daily right there. Not too far away. But it is far away at the same time. Like, that's 500 points down. Almost 600 points down. Way back coming into this year, I said I said we go below 4 before we go above 7. Well, we're up here at 7. We haven't crossed it yet. This has been a crazy ride with no pullback, which I don't really count that as a pullback. This was a pullback. This was just a hiccup. I mean, usually we get pullbacks, There's been none of that. It's just been a relentless drive higher. I'd be careful. Be careful, everybody. That's several weeks ago, I put that 5 on here. has the potential to top this out. And we go down and come up for potentially that. I don't know. I don't know. Possible to come back down here. It's possible that this is the top out and this is the correction we do. And it could last a while before we come back up again. Just throwing out things to think about. If you haven't thought about these things and you don't have a plan, you know, upwards of, look like upwards of 20% of you, where'd that report go? Yeah, it's 26% aren't profitable this year. So if we start down the hole, you know, this was the biggest, I mean, we're at all-time highs here and you're not profitable. If we start on a bigger down correction, something more dark and sinister in the market. Are you going to be able to survive? I made the biggest trades, biggest dollar trades, the fastest I've ever made in my life right here. From the time I started trading, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit, higher time frame. Yeah, I started trading right back over here, right back in here with my family's money. Took me from there up till COVID to build, you know, I started just contributing to retirement accounts and stuff like that. It took me from right there over to here to take about, you know, I started my dad's $27,000 retirement account and my mom's whatever. I'd built that up to roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000 between inheritance money and savings, and, you know, using about $300,000 when we got into COVID. That little drop, I turned that into 1.4 million. This little drop, which was actually bigger than this drop, if you can believe it, the Liberation Day drop was 100 points bigger. 100 points bigger in actual numbers and lasted 10 days longer than this drop right here. Yet it didn't seem like it presented as much opportunity. Now the recovery has been pretty amazing. A lot of people don't think about that this Liberation Day drop and this COVID drop yeah, look at that. We got 1,100 points, 1,200 points. I didn't even snap it to the right. You know, that's just ballpark. You know, percent-wise, it was a bigger correction, but point-wise, this was the bigger correction. This one went pretty fast, but this one only lasted 10 more days. Just 10 more days. It's crazy to think, you know, people said we'd never see that again. That was essentially the same size drop as we saw during COVID, but it wasn't because of a virus. February 28th, I drew it on the chart that we were going to do that. Right to the weekly. You go back and look. So now, there's bigger potential to the downside. We could go hit this monthly chart. It's not even that far away. Not really. Last time we were down here, back in 2011, could use another hit. And we kind of go. See how I did this correction back here in the 70s? Bounced a couple times, then off to the races. A couple little pullbacks in between, and we hit. Bounced again. This looks like Copy this, put it up here. Bounce again. Off to the races. Couple little pullbacks in between. Pull back there, looks a lot like that one. Pull back here, looks a lot like this one. Ramp it on up. How far do we ramp it up? I don't know. Don't have the answer, but definitely deja vu. I got a lot of deja vu from this, and from this. I was trading through each of those. I see a lot of deja vu on a lot of things right now. Just telling you, be careful. Anyway, I know nobody wants me to be right, but we'll see. We'll see, everybody. We'll see. It's like my wife's favorite thing I say, we'll see. She's like, we'll see means no. All right. There'll be opportunity, but I'm not short yet. Till we actually start rolling, there's no easy. I got beat up in 2022. Like, this was too coordinated a drop. Like, it made it very difficult because of the way this would pull back and then pull back and relive. You know, we didn't get any big constant drop. It was just like a grind lower, then take a relief, grind lower, take a relief, grind lower, take a relief, grind lower, take a bigger pop, and grind lower. Luckily, I had a good feeling that was the last one, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. I thought that was the end. Turned out it was. And that was just, it wasn't just 5 because of that. It was, you know, it's kind of an ABC with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that worked out proportionally right into the bottom. That projected off of that. Get the points in the right spot here. I was within a couple points of getting that on the money there. Can't remember if I had that. Oh, that was it right there. It's right like that. Right down almost to the exact number, and then we bounced. So I got a feeling we're going to see another big downside. But how do we make money today, this week? You know, I'm long as heck. I mean, working on my 50K challenge. If you've not seen this, month to date, trying to build this into an account that generates 50K a month. Right here, 50K a month is the goal. I'm at 4K a month, and 4K is not 50K. So I need like 12x more money. So probably take me 5 years to do that. That's my guess. 3 months, 7K. But year to date, 30K. That's nicer. There. Still got a lot of work to do though. 87% win rate, about 185 per trade. It's not bad. Now, for those of you that might be negative on the year, I just want to show you something. How hard this game is that we do. So, right there, just at $30,000. I'm in the top 172 traders on KInfo. There are thousands of people on this website. Literally thousands. If not tens of thousands. I'm in the top 172 with $30,000 profit for the year. You don't have to make big profits to be in the top traders in the world. Going for big home run hits all the time. It's a recipe for blowing your account up. Small, calculated, repeatable wins. That's what I do here. Look, there was a big win. That was Rocket Lab. There was another big-ish win. It's $1,200 on Gap. Now, this was Rocket Lab. So I started this April 15th. Small consistent wins. Caught a lucky break on Rocket Lab. Small consistent wins. It's the name of the game. Put yourself in the right place at the right time. Catch some nice ones. You can see, over and over and over. I do these daily index puts spreads sometimes. I've talked about it here on the channel a few times. But I know it's not the reason you came. You came for doing requests, so let's go ahead and get into that. And I guess just after 6 o'clock, we'll switch over to members only. Ask me anything. But in the meantime and in between time, I'll take requests. I need you to type in capital letters, all caps, and a ticker I can pull up quickly. Off limits. Let's not do leverage tickers. Let's kind of stay away from biotechs. Stay away from dumpster fires if you can. You may not know what a dumpster fire is, but let's not look at dumpster fires because they're kind of a waste of time. So type in full caps. I'll pick up channel members first. I'll come back, pick up some subscribers, and then we'll switch to members only stream at just after 6 o'clock. All right. If you want to be in the members only stream, click the button, be a channel member. It's reasonably priced for the content you get. And let's see, AVGO. Let's do some high level analysis. This is in danger territory. Danger. But at the same time, it did the breakout pattern. Look at the monthly pattern here. This did between 3 and 6 months of consolidation. Broke out, all-time highs. Usually for the next 6 to 12 months, we outperform the market. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got at least 1 month to go, if not, 1 to 6 months to go, basically. Outperform the market. So if you didn't know this, there's a pattern, well established. If you're making all-time highs, and you do a 3 to 6 month consolidation, and then you break out to a new all-time high again, usually these stocks that do this outperform the market. And you just look at a 1 month chart and see this. So keep on outperforming. Next upside, 450 area. This could do a pullback and still launch up there. Another 3 to 6 month consolidation in here just supports it going higher once again. Alrighty. And A-Rock. And it's sitting under the resistance here. Got the high. Back over there. We got the low right here. And that's the 618. We did get a close above. Higher low. Closed above again. Higher low again. If we can get above those, really the resistance is going to be right there. Get above that 2750 area. Probably set to come on up here. 32. That'd be my guess. AMD. Rock and roll, baby. There's the target. 400. If we can get really spicy, 950. Watch for a pullback, but probably should pull that down just a hair. 800. Let's go 800. Be reasonable. Be reasonable. It hasn't had any big pullbacks though, so be careful. We could be topping out in a 5 up. That little baby 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wouldn't surprise me to come back down to the vicinity of the 4, which would be right in here. Take a big trip down before we come on up. That was a move up. That was a retrace to a 618. And then getting super bullish. So bigger upside targets, like I said, up here around 500 and 800 on AMD. But that doesn't mean it won't do some ginormous pullback to like 150. That's still in the cards. WW. I wouldn't touch it. That's what we call a downtrend. All right, that's got to have a reverse split in it. That's a dumpster fire. One way or another, that's a dumpster fire. Where's the reverse split? Where's it? There's got to be one in here somewhere. If that's the chart, it's got to have a reverse split. Ain't no way that dropped from $7,000. Yeah, it didn't IPO for $3,000. So there's a reverse split in here somewhere. Yeah, downtrend. It's gonna keep going down. ARWR. You should have the right Weight Watchers. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Nice reversal. Golly, look at those red. They are not good at managing earnings expectations. Look at this. This is a company that is not good at beating earnings. So looking at the bigger picture here, we got to move up. Retrace to 50%. If we can break through the 618s, which should be right about here. Potential to kick this off for a bigger move up in there. Got pretty close. Now, the downside here, if we reject off of that, we can easily take it back down here. Yeah, that's pharma. Biotech pharma for you. Careful on that one. Lemonade. Just choppy. It's struggling to try to hit that 62.80. That pullback came up, kicked off the entry, pulled back, higher low, ramped up, missed the target, pulled back, ramped up, missed the target, pulled back. Can we do it the third attempt? 62.80, possibly 69. It's seems to be a kind of major resistance right there. So if we pop it, we may retrace again before we can come on up to the next one. So that's 62.80, 69, and then 93 above that. Lemonade for you, VZ, Verizon. I'll go ahead and hit some subscribers questions, and then we'll pick up all the members in the members only stream portion. VZ took a big trip down. See, this is what I warn about right here. And 618. That was an A, that was a B. Absolutely beautiful. And then here's the C. Correction. That's why I warn about these all the time. Right in the zone to retreat, to find a bottom and reverse, but it doesn't have to. This was a downtrend coming into this. This could have been a bounce, and we resumed the downtrend to the downside. So if we get down to 35, you may see this make a lower low than back here in 2023 on VZ. PLTR, a few of these. Nice pop back up to the all-time high. Didn't really have much of a retrace to work off of. This could be like a 4-hour bounce. Here's the high, here's the low. Okay, 198, possibly 205 would be the upside resistances here. These levels. Yep, that's what I see. Be careful. That'll probably pull back viciously on a pullback because these numbers are stupid. That's the 141 years of sales to justify the current price. That's not sustainable. 628 years of earnings to justify the price. This would be more like 20. We figure out how to get that to 20. That's 7, dividing the price by 7. We divide the price by 7. 190 divided by 7. That ticks it down quite a bit. Talking about 27. That'd be a normal price for anything in the market. So, but it grows like crazy. And be careful. You can trade stories all you want, but when the music stops, that's gonna get pummeled. SMR. Surprised it's not popping more than it was today with the news on U.S. government buying some reactor stuff or whatever. Got to get above that 618 area right there. And then 61.59 on the upside. RX sounds like biotech. Garbage. Haven't been doing anything. Biotech stuff, be careful. And CBOE. And we did a 3-wave retrace. Here's the move down. Here's the retrace. I see potential for this to come on down here before we bounce. Break back above that and go higher. Just be careful. Could it bounce here? Sure. Like that, it could be done. It met all the requirements, lower low. Looks like it did that just barely. So we get back above the 245 without going down here. It can go on up to 257. CBOE. BitX is leveraged. Riot has the potential. It's working on something. So here's the pullback that I'm interested in is this high and this low. And we're sitting at this 618. We can push through. Opens the door for that pop to 130. Pretty nice. And like I said, I'll pick up the channel members here in a minute when we switch over. And let's start that timer here. And yeah, start that timer. We'll switch over. So NEM likely to retrace to the roadmap line right there. Careful. And NBIS. Oh, that's HBI. NBIS. Yeah, so same retrace to the roadmap line would be what I expect there. You cannot think it should happen, but yeah, played out. Roadmap line 1272. Be normal to come back to the roadmap line at this point. Now, it could do a, yeah, that would fit. Even if that's a wave 4, and we go 5, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, probably take it up there. But you got to be able to survive the pullback to like 65 before we can go up to like 265. All right. Kimberly, my favorite subscriber in the chat. Bitcoin. I cover Bitcoin every morning, so it looks like all the subscribers right there. Bitcoin, I cover this every morning, so you know my analysis from the morning still stands valid. This is the first move down. This is the retrace, and if we hold below that 618 level of this drop, which is where we've held so far, opens the door. If we don't hold that, probably going down here below 100,000. Hate to see it. And then if we bounce and hold below the roadmap line, crypto winners here. That's what I see. Just a warning. Everybody asks me, what's the warning that Bitcoin's done? That's 5 down. That's 3 up to a 618. And we stopped right on it. That's the warning. The warning that Bitcoin is done has completed in the chart at this point. Warning, 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 warning. I don't know how to tell you more than that right there. As long as we're under that 618, you're like, what 618? It's this one right here. This high, this low, that 618 level, 117 and change. As long as we're sitting underneath it. We have 5 down, 3 up, and potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an A wave. Then we do a big B wave retrace. And then we go down even vicious, more vicious for a C wave. Just be careful, everybody. That's rough. That's rough. So that's Bitcoin for you. Rolling back up. Pick up where I was. Did Lemonade, Verizon, Baba. So Baba has a move down, retrace, and a potential to get a third move down. Maybe to the roadmap line. Now, what I like, zooming out and looking a little bigger, this did retrace and hold the 618 right there after busting through. Busted through, retraced to the 618, held. If we can break back through that high from a couple weeks ago, it's on like Donkey Kong. This target potential up here. This has done all the reversal stuff I wanted to move up, retrace, move up through the roadmap line, couldn't hold it, popped up through, bounced down to it, held, double bounced, shot up through the 618, retraced, retest. This has done everything I would want to do to see this continuation. The next confirmation is break above that prior, break above the high we did a couple weeks ago. And it's probably going out to the new all-time high. DMLP. Where do y'all come up with this? Like, how low volume is this? Average volume is 90,000 shares. Yeah, don't trade this stuff. The problem here is you get in and you can't even get a good price on shares. There's not going to be any options at all on something with that low volume, wouldn't think. At least no liquid options. Don't go out very far. Let's see what the close that national debt clock thing. What was this? DMLP. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there's a few people playing options, but it's not very liquid. They're only playing short term, so say, yeah, sure, Trump may announce they're going to do something with them, but one, there's no shares that get traded. Two, oh man, what a nasty. Whew. Dividend yield 12%. This is a weird one. I would be very, very, very careful messing with this. That can easily be a bigger retrace right here. That can easily drop back down to 15. Easily. Easily. All right. Z-scaler. Talked about that on Profit Panel, I think. No, I mean, Market Masters. Excuse me. Get my shows right. Z-scaler. So the problem here, even though this looks kind of bullish, we have this big move down. And while it made a move up on a retrace, that's only two. It's only like 1, 2. And this is questionable. This is not the behavior you would see on a 3. 3s usually go like this. Bust right through. They don't stall out, hang out. It's just not typical. We don't usually mess around here. So this looks more like an A, a B, and potential for a C that comes up just a little higher. And then we roll over. This be an A, B that just happened to go a little higher, and C that comes down here, lower low again. It's just so sloppy right there. Be careful. Mess with this. Yeah, this is a company that's doing good managing their earnings expectations. But they have no earnings, even while we're running at awesome markets and a 19x price to sales. While 20 is okay with no earnings, that means they're losing money. Be careful. Be careful. SQQQ is leveraged. Let's see, MER. Dun, 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 dun. Switching to a members only stream in about 50 seconds. If you want to come join us, click the button to be a member. I'll stay on talking to members until we're done, I guess. So you can come join me if you want to. Click the button to pop this up so I can get to the members only chat. So thanks for coming, all the subscribers. And we will see you again soon. I'll be live tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel as always. 9:15. So looking at MER. Got the pullback. Channel members, I've got the chat. You don't have to retype your tickers. I'll just keep going down the list. So MER is at a resistance. Potentially to pull back here. Back to the roadmap line. And next up, CLF.